Hey there, Improv Tipsters. Welcome back to Improv Tips, where I am some of the best improvisers in the world, give you improv tips and advice to make you a better, more confident, and happier improviser wherever you are in your improv journey. I am, as always, your host, Paul Valancourt. Let's begin. Today's fantastic guest improv tipper is Llaura Hughes. Now, Llaura is a Bristol-based business psychologist and improviser. That's got to keep her very busy, I can only imagine. She has performed and directed all over the world, and she is currently a resident instructor at the Bristol Improv Theater. Check out down below her links to see what she is up to. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever been in an improv show and the previous scene ends, and you being a good teammate and improviser, edit that scene, but you don't know where to set the scene, right? So you kind of, just default to an office. Now, there's nothing wrong with an office scene, but you've done that 1,000 times. Or how about this? You edit that scene and then you look at your partner who comes out with you and you're trying to figure out who you are to each other. And you don't really, so then you just default to friend. A friend. That's fine. Again, a fine relationship, but wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be interesting to do something different that you haven't done 1,000 times before? Another office scene, another just friends scene, etc., etc. Well, that is exactly what Llaura's tip is about today. I talked a little bit about this in this improv tip here, ding ding, but today Llaura is talking about how to easily and powerfully bring this into your work. But before we get to that, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, maybe commenting on what you think about this video or anything that's happening on the channel or what you're thinking about improv in general. That's really what I'm interested in, and I would really appreciate it. Now back to Llaura's tip. I love Llaura's tip today because it is all about using your own day-to-day experience to add variety and specificity to your work. Who couldn't use more variety and specificity in their work? I know I could. I'm always striving after that. So you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from the source. Without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Llaura Hughes.
Hi everyone, it is Llaura Hughes from Life is Improv, and I'm here in my car because the tip that I want to give to you is about considering travel when we are thinking about our improv scenes. Now, this isn't necessarily travel as in always be traveling, but bear with me and it will make sense. Now, the reason I came up with the website Life is Improv is because before I even started learning or teaching improv, I always used to say that life is improvised. We wake up and we cannot plan for every single thing that happens in our lives or that day. Don't get me wrong, I love a list and I love a good plan, and I love it when a plan comes together. But as we know, whether that be getting up and just wanting to make ourselves a hot drink and the electricity being off, or us wanting to get somewhere on time and being stuck in traffic or something else happening, it doesn't always go our way. And as we know in improv, we can't force things to happen because we are working with other people. We are creating things as we go. And therefore, sometimes what we might plan for doesn't actually happen. But that doesn't matter because it makes a magical experience anyway, and something that we can pull from and remember. So the reason I'm in my car is because I have done some traveling today. And one of the top tips to think about when you are creating your improv characters or your improv scenes is all of the different places that you have been. Just today, for example, I've been sat downstairs on my laptop doing some work. I've been out in the garden playing with my cats. I've been in my car traveling to different locations. I've been in a caravan park meeting with family. I have been in a shop. I have been stuck in traffic. I have been to see upstairs in a bedroom and spoken to a family member who's not feeling well. I've even spent time on my own just reading a book. Now, these are multiple different locations and opportunities for our scenes to start or even to take place in. But sometimes we find ourselves stuck in the same places, and we might think of big places like a laundromat or a superstore or a drugstore, or we might think of standing on the corner or we're in an office. And these are great places to have our locations, but there are so many locations that you have been in your real life that you could pull from. Just think, have you ever traveled in an airport? Well, airports are huge places, aren't they? But, waiting to get onto a flight or just getting through the luggage, getting on a plane, finding out it's delayed. Going to work, you've got your office, you've got your cafeteria, you've got the water cooler, you've got reception, you've got the bathrooms. There are so many different places, even just in one building, but throughout your day, there are many different places to be. So when we think about our locations for our improv scenes, there is a plethora of options out there. And if you find yourself always defaulting to the same places, then just sit back and think, where have I been today or this week or this month? And that links also to our characters. Don't get me wrong, I default to the same types of characters, normally high status and powerful, such as queens or bosses. However, there are so many different characters that I can be and that I have been, but I know that what my defaults are. So often what I'll need to do is take a step back and think of like, what are all the different people that I have interacted with in my day-to-day life? Can I put myself in their shoes? Could I pretend to be one of them? Could I improvise as that character instead? What is it like to be that character? And what I found through my life, just in general, not just through performance, but sometimes having a conversation with a stranger really helps you to build more knowledge about other people that aren't like you, and also those that are like you. You build a great human connection, but you hear how people say, what types of words would they use in certain situations? What kind of life experiences have they had? And that allows you to pull from that into your own characters. You can make a character from someone you know. When you're improvising, your characters do not need to be zero and you build onto them all the way up. They do not have to be completely imaginary. Use something that you're already familiar with. And from traveling, whether, as I said, that's leaving your house and speaking to a neighbor, whether that's getting on public transport, whether that is just going to the shop, you will interact and see lots of different people. I like to people watch. I like to sit in a coffee shop and look out the window and just watch people go by and make little stories about them, see what I decide that comes up with. Now that's really helpful for improv. But also, while teaching, I find that some people, when they need to do character work, they are in their own head. They're thinking about themselves in the sense that they're not too sure whether they should push themselves to do this character, whether they should say these things or do these things. And so what I ask them to do is forget about yourself. Forget that it is you as the improviser that is doing these things, and put yourselves in that person's shoes. Just pretend that you are that person. Pretend that you are that woman in that superstore or that drugstore or that shopping supermarket who is looking for things that she couldn't find. Pretend that you are the bus driver who is so tired of hearing the same thing said and asked every single day. Pretend that you are your next door neighbor who is annoyed at you because you play your music really loud every single night. There are so many options there. And what you need to do is remember that life is improv. Pull from your lived experiences. You do not need to make it all up. Pull from things that you're experienced with. Remember that you have so much experience and so many things that you just in your own lifetime you can pull from. So if you're ever stuck for inspiration, remember that you have it all inside of you and that your life is improv.
Hey friends, thanks for checking out the video, and if you want to hear a little bit more, check out one of these 2 quality videos. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and follow us on social media. All the links are in the description down below, and let me know what you would like to see an improv tip about. Thanks for watching.